Good morning. One feels it's time to explain what these videos are about because they're not really for the informative mind or for the seeking mind. In fact, they're for no mind. So therefore, the quality of the information and the quality of the entertainment, the quality of the advice, the quality of the teaching is nil. So why would someone come on and make so many videos about something that is non-informative, non-essential for you? Well, hopefully this video will explain some of these, or the crux of why. You see, through an experience where a human or a person's mind is totally destroyed, totally annihilated, mutilated, to the extent that everything that it goes with inherited condition learned disappeared. So therefore there's a need to come back to life in our human way. And it only took one destruction. And it only takes one moment. And we only have one life in a body. But we live in a world that is dual. How come? How come, you see? That's what was learned from moving from this destructed thing, wholly destroyed, completely destroyed. One destruction, removing all duality. And spiritual speakers call it non-duality and duality. Non-duality is what this is. There is no escaping non-duality, and there is nothing else here but non-duality. Non-duality meaning everything is one. Everything is one. And that's what happens when your human opposing state mind, dual mind, that's all we have, you see. This dual mind that apparently exists has two sides, good and bad, man and woman, front and back, inside, outside, this and that. But to understand where the speaker is speaking from, not to or about, is the place of non-duality. Sometimes the ego, the dualistic mind that has been reborn, it comes in for a little sneak. Hello, I'm going to speak about humans today. But at no time does non-duality speak about duality. Non-duality does not speak about you must support this team or that team. Two sides. Choices. We call it choices. Non-duality is when all choices have been diminished, all removed. And your human mind will say, well, that's really not a good thing because people, but that's another that's another realm or dimension. Humans are a two-dimensional thing. Your being is non-dimensional. Yeah? Non-dimensional. And a human, two-dimensional. So what's in between? One. For the two to operate and be here equally, simultaneously, as the same thing, 2 and 0 have to become 1. They have to merge. There's a dual way of looking at it. 2 and 0 have to merge into oneness. And they have to become this one, this pure I. Let's look at it physically. How many sides does your body have? How many sides does your beingness have? Your mind cannot even, it's guessing, you see, it's making assumptions. But using your five senses, how many sides does your body have? There's no sides. But our mind, a mind that somewhere down the line decided to create two sides, front and back, inside, outside. All man-made human creative words to describe what it thinks this is not true, because the human body has no sides. When you say there's something behind me, yeah, and there's something in front of me, it appears it's two directions. What happens when you just simply swivel around? That what was behind me is now in front of me, and that what was in front of me is now behind me. We're a lighthouse. We are circular. We have peripheral vision. We can see everywhere we like. We complicate things by giving things names and identities, and that is what duality is. Good and bad. So therefore, to get to the point of this video of why this speaker is not informative, the human mind that looks for something that in a language, in an identifiable world that it can associate with, whether it's a thought, an imagination, or a form, something material, it needs to have information and advice about these things. And of course, non-duality is that what becomes before all identities, all names. You understand this? There is no inside and outside. Yeah? We are this body in its internal, what we call now internal state, is external. Because it's taking in the external, the breath, the thoughts. Yeah? And then it's breathing them out again. So is breath inside or outside? Is that what we essentially are, breath? Do we have sides? And the human mind will always come in and argue against it and say, yeah, we have an in-breath and an out-breath. No, we have breath. And it operates like the wind, like a function. Blows and stops blowing, it blows and stops blowing. You see, we have to describe the wind using two opposites. It's either still or moving. So this speaker is not speaking to a human mind. It's not associating with a human mind. It's using the human mind to vocalize a non-dual thing, that everything is the same. Everything is one whole thing. And when you give it names, you give it duality. You give it me and you. And therefore, suffering. We think, the human mind thinks it's evolution. It's evolving. What is evolving? What is evolving? Life is here. And life remains here. Forever and ever. It matters not what shape it takes, what form it takes, what style it takes, what color it takes. It matters not if it's going forward or backward. It's moving. We don't know anything about permanence, do we? The human mind does not know anything about permanence. Permanence is rigid, non-moving. The mountain is permanent. No, the earth is moving. The mountain is moving. It's changing every day. Our bodies are changing every day. The universe is moving, the stars are moving, the meteorites are moving, the blood is moving, the atoms are moving, the molecules are moving, the wind is moving, the thoughts are moving, the breath is moving. So what is it, apart from a video I made earlier, the teacher says to the children, become a statue. Now you're still. The teacher has now created an opposite of movement. Is it a true stillness? It's impossible. It is impossible. Most saints, whatever you want to call them, gurus, whatever you want to call, I don't have no name. Non-duality has no name. My body has a name. It's a secondary source. The body, the human life appears to be dual. It appears to be dual to the mind because the mind has created it dual through words and language. What happened before we started speaking? Yeah? And you were transported down onto this earth and no one could speak. Every chimpanzee state, whatever state you want to think, cast your mind back, caveman state, whatever. And you went up to the caveman and says, if you go back 3 steps, you'll find that tool that you're looking for. What's the caveman going to say? Or the chimpanzee going to say? What? What does back mean? It's an invented way of creating division. It wasn't intended for that. But anyway, this came to me because you deserve an explanation. You're not stupid, you see. Your human mind works in this intelligence. Yeah? And if you're dependent on this human mind in this conditioned, inherited way, and you've not experienced anything other than this human mind, that's all you know. So much apologies to those who are looking for information or taking sides. The speaker never takes sides. The speaker doesn't know what sides are. In the conditioned memory bank of the brain, I remember being in school. I'm using language. I haven't forgot the language. I hasn't forgot what front and back is to that human mind. So therefore I can participate in this human world. So what is the purpose of the video? Is to explain that non-duality. It's a way of pacifying those who are depressed and stressed and anxious. It's your mind that's depressed and stressed and anxious because your true self, your true non-dual self is coming through saying, I can't cope with this world. Everything I do on this side, I come up against hurdles. And when I revert to this side, I also come up against hurdles because these sides do not exist. These are ideas and concepts of a human world that we have created. And it's a wonderful world. But happiness and sadness, they don't exist as separate entities. They come naturally. We cry naturally. And it's not to be compared against happiness. We are a moving organic form. Or a moving organic nothingness taking shape in a form. And the form is not separate from the moving and the organic and the whole thing that it is. It's like an octopus. Whole life is an octopus. And these little suckers on the end of the tentacles are eyes. And it appears that we think that we're the suckers, but we're the whole octopus with the one eye. The one eye. Everything is a clue to non-duality. The wind cannot move without the sky, without the space around it, the trees. The trees cannot grow without the earth. The humans cannot survive without oxygen or breath or whatever it is, whatever you call it. These are singularized things made up from one thing. So therefore, one says, are we powerful or are we powerless? A lot of saints and gurus and speakers speak about the power. What is this power? The human mind, it has power and powerless. It has choices to be powerful or powerless, the human mind. The true original you is beyond power and powerless, because power and powerless are the same thing that is derived or arises through this little tentacle. Today in this arm I'm going to be powerful, and the other arm saying no, I'm going to be powerless. I'm the same one. The two arms come from the same thing, or the legs, whatever you want to call them, but they're competing with each other. We have schizophrenia. We have this idea that we are a soul and a human speaking to each other. No, we are one thing. We are one thing where everything is born from. So whatever word you want to come up with, yes, I am that. But when you want to experience your non-duality, I am not that. And again, it's two sides, you see. So the mind itself, this mind, is dual, because it sees duality and non-duality as separate. But what the speaker is saying is not that everything is separate. Everything is born from one you. And you are not different from I. And I is not different from that. And that is not different from this. And man is not different from woman. And black is not different from white. The idea that black and white exist as only two opposing states, as not similar, is like trying to tell, for this one, it's like trying to tell the caveman to go back 3 steps. Caveman's never heard that language before, never heard that words before. Doesn't know what steps are, doesn't know what back is. You just point. What is pointing? Life is pointing. What turns around to get it? Life. What does it pick up? Life. What is it to use this life thing as? Life. Non-duality is pure, whole, holy, unconscious, conscious, godly, devilish, whatever you want in your life is in your life. That you are. There's nothing wrong with being dual and suffering and experiencing pain and pleasure as opposing things. You have to experience that before this destruction can take place. Because if the caveman was destroyed before it experienced duality and languages and whatever, there was no purpose for being here. There's no reason. He didn't find out anything about what he is, because he was already that, you see. The mind is here to investigate what we are. And now we're on this journey of duality. We have to turn around and face up to the non-dual world that I is. So I hope these words make no sense to your human mind, but sense to your human mind. Don't waste your time here. It's not to point you, to teach you, to inform you. It's just to say, don't worry. Don't have any fears. But you have to experience that destruction, that one whole destruction. Taking all your bits and pieces, all your memories, your thoughts, your languages, your conditions, your ideas, your associations, your attachments, your desires, your wants, your needs, taking them all back to its root place, its source. And in the source, you cannot move from this source. You're never, ever separate from this source. Never, ever separate from this source. Okay? That's a human idea from this mind. But I, whatever I am, and I have no idea what I am, and I have no intention of finding out what I am. Because whatever I am appearing as. No point thinking about it. Just accept it. Accept this life as it is. In duality and non-duality and pain and pleasure and whatever. But the moment this speaker wants to eradicate all this stuff, he doesn't have to do anything. There's nothing to do. Just, I'm whole. The brain holds the memory of the destruction, like it holds the memory of how you go to the toilet, like the memory of the wind and how it blows, and names and languages. The brain is a extremely, extremely intelligent thing. And it's not simply here just for human side, for this dual side. It's here for all sides, whatever sides. And you are infinite possibilities of being powerful, of being powerless. And that's why all these speakers and gurus are worth taking a look at. Because if you are looking to take a side, if you are looking to remain dual, but enhance your powerful state, or your happy state, or your good state, or your joyful state, they will take you on that journey. But this speaker is taking no one on any journey. There is no journey. The journey is within myself. Everything is within whatever I am. Now, all these infinite possibilities will appear and disappear. But that, what I am, is neither appearing nor disappearing. Neither powerful, neither powerless. Neither here, neither there. Neither spirit, neither soul, neither human, neither being. That, what is beyond all names becomes the nameless. And even consciousness can wave to you inside. Everywhere. Namaste.